upstairs. Nia coming in, but will take the hit. Eruption on the generator as well. Eruption and Call of Ride. Nia does take a hit through the wall. So I don't know if matter. Oh, and the dissolution value! These survivors. Deliverance from Claudette. Sprint bursting to the heart.
It's the same with these masks in the one event. She didn't get a mask either.
No!
Like,
oh, the ground!
Yeah, that was mine. Look at this thing.
They're trying.
Hope nerf Nancy, man.
she's gonna get hacked, maybe.
Oh my goodness, she might just get hacked potentially. I think she does. Holy cow! I cannot believe.
They do get the spirit reset and they get the down.
Yes, they will get the survivors, leaving the trial, and there's going to be the teleport. The Nia, she's right here, but Nia needs to go.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. I'm your host, Little Rugar, and joining me today is none other than Commissioner themselves, Guildspire, for another round of Season 7. Are you ready?
I am indeed, and we are kicking things off very interesting as we are getting, once again, another Twins match from Misery against Aeternum Survivor Team. This time, though, on the Dead Dog Saloon, and you see the Twins here taking a look at their appearance, but the mirror was not a fan, and looks like the Twins are doing some home remodeling before trying to hunt down these survivors.
Oh my goodness, did you workshop that? That was great. I love that.
Nope, that was quite literally on the spot.
I love it. I love the off the cuff and not finding anyone all too early. I'm kidding. It's Ada. That was a very early find. Also, that's not life either. There's gonna be a hit. Well, going for Victor instead. I respect it. It's fine.
I think it makes a lot of sense here. There's potentially getting resources out of the way, getting the hit on Ada as well. Honestly, the bounce from Victor made me skeptical, but it worked.
I did not know that was a thing, but you know what? Leave it to Jukebox to know the tech, okay? Oh,
apparently.
My goodness, well done. And finding Ace as well, so we got multiple survivors being pressured at this moment. They also got both of the main building resources of the doors out, and oh, they have their eyes only for Ada. I'm wondering why Ada. Is it just because it's the first survivor they found, or is Ada specifically like, you know what? I think this player is the rat. I think this player is the stealthy one.
I mean, it's a really good question when you come down to it, because my thought would be, much like we saw the Twins game yesterday, is to split pressure and have Ada just kind of carry Victor for a while and then, keep two survivors off of Gens. We see Ace coming in here. For all intent and purpose, now there are two survivors off of Gens. Victor might get kicked, but looks like they might be transferring over to the Ace now. I'm not really sure what the game plan was there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess that Ace had a pretty solid body block. I'm surprised they didn't try to go up the stairs. I would have loved to see what would happen if you go up the stairs and try and drop behind Ace, but in the end, Ace doing a really good job body blocking for his teammate, and I'm guessing they really do not want Ada to go down first. So
yeah, it would definitely seem that way. We see Jen pop off in the distance, and I'm not sure if the I want to say it was deadlock, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if that's corruption of vengeance
Jen was
still,
split.
or if that was a deadlock. Okay.
Oh, and Ada's already healed, and they do get the kick, and I'm gonna see if they're gonna be able to get this pickup. Twins is kind of far away. If they have, is We're Gonna Live Forever allowed against Twins? I forget. I don't think it is, right?
It is not. We're Gonna Live is just general ban for a multitude of reasons, including the fact that it gives you those cell guard stacks on pickup. But
is that leader?
It looks like they will get redown.
Okay, is leader banned? Because that was actually a really quick pickup.
Leader, I'd have to double check on the Twins and general overall, but they do get the redown with Victor nonetheless, and looks like this will be the first hook of this match. Looks like a bit of firecracker play there, trying to blind the Twins at the hook. A cheeky play indeed, but it did not pay out for them. And honestly, Twins in a really good spot here. Gallows with a lot of progress. Ace on the hook. there's not many reasons for the Twins to move very far away
Oh,
from the hook,
no!
but Ada coming in out of nowhere.
Oh man, bad out of hell right there. And even the Twins, they got to be like, dadgummit, I just, the second that I leave them, that's brutal. Also noting, I'm wondering if the survivors are gonna try to 99 the saloon jet. Oh, they actually got what? Reverse
So we were
Palestine
talking about
Victor?
yesterday how there was a lot of reverse pallet techs, and today they got one with Victor, but still got the hit nonetheless.
Indeed, and really well done. Kate over here for some reason as well. Very interesting. I'm wondering if was that another flashbang or firecracker attempt, or they were just hanging out, scoping out the area.
I think they were working on that gen right next to that hook, and just unfortunately for them, Twins brought them on over. But they will get the pounce on the Kate. Now 2 survivors injured and broken. Claudette, the only one currently not injured and able to go for the unhook. So Twins in a very strong position, even with 2 gens having been completed thus far.
That's a good point, and it is back here. The 3 gen is still intact, unless for some reason they were able to get on it and break it without us knowing about it. But yeah, they've actually got a good split pressure as well in the survivors. Multiple survivors broken. 8 is still broken from the original body block. I would have to agree. No crazy slowdown, and survivors are well fed out of phobia, and that is what 9% slowdown, or is it 6%? I forget.
I want to
6%.
say it's I believe it's what 4% current and the additional, or no, it's 2%.
That's what it used to be.
Yeah, that's right.
That. I missed that, honestly. I missed that. But I mean, to be fair, the net phobia was kind of cracked. But
I
think it's
yes,
2%
but
and an additional
also
12.
there are better ways to balance that perk. But one way or another, we see the Twins here trying to get this down on the A's. We see the pounce and the miss. Claudette coming in, but this is a dangerous play as Charlotte is right next to them.
They are, but it looks like they're gonna be able to body block it. Not even a forced penance hit for the killer either. So all survivors are injured. Will this be the snowball that every Twins main desperately loves to see? Everybody's down for the count, and Ace very smart getting in the locker. I don't think Twins can get up there in time.
If they are, it's going to be really close. However, I don't exactly know what exhaustion perk the Ace has. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been balanced, but they are not going to be able to jump off in time as we see them get grabbed out of that locker and put on the hook for what will be the final time.
Indeed, and worth noting is that the survivors did not take that opportunity to go and bust that gen on Gallows. Instead, they have all reset, and I think that's going to be the pivotal point of this match. You have 2 gens left, and you healed instead of doing the one of the really hard gens in the 3 gen. That either is going to pay off really well, or it's going to be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We'll have to wait and see. That being said, we only saw the Claudette over by the water wheel. The gen on Gallows still regressing. And so we'll have to see if the Twins is able to hold down this 3 gen. If they are, I mean, it's an easy task for the Twins. Send out Victor on 1 survivor. Now you have 2 off of gens. Only 1 is able to stick on them. So I think this is a really manageable situation for the Twins as of right now.
I would genuinely agree, especially when you find this Kate here. You can recall Victor now, get your power back. Yeah, and that's what we see happen. And this Kate is probably not long for this world. I'm curious where Ada is at this point, because Ada was the first one that was being, sought after. They ended up going for Ace instead. They just finally go for What is this game right now?
That's another hit through that pallet. Yeah, survivors here probably molding just a little bit.
I would be too.
With now 2 pallet stuns on Victor while also
Ada's on
taking the
Gallows.
Hell State.
That's gonna pop.
Yeah, they are doubling up, and this is the right play. They need to complete that generator, and with Claudette now in a locker, you can't get them both off. So where did Ada go?
I don't know, and Twins is gonna have to make their way back slowly, and there's the call out. They're going back up to the top. Do you go for it? Where did Ada go?
Yeah, there's no information. We see Claudette trying to avoid Victor. Will get the down, though.
Where's
But
Kate?
Ada nowhere to be found.
Okay.
Looks like they may have been back and getting the pickup on Kate.
That's what I was wondering. Like, Ada just absolutely disappeared there, so absolutely crazy. There's the blood, though. Where's the blood? Follow the blood.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, with the tall
There's
grass from Dead Dog Saloon,
She's everywhere.
they were not able to identify where that blood trail went, but Ada here at the pallet trying to make some distance. There's now 2 survivors up, though Claudette is going to get found, and looks like they will get hooked. Honestly, in this case, let the Ada and Kate heal up, let them complete the gen over by water wheel. You keep this gen, you sit on top of it, and let it regress.
I would agree. I think that is the play here. Survivors, I do think resetting in the end was the correct play, because otherwise they would have all died right then and there. That was a very lethal play from Victor, so I just don't know. I don't know if they can finish this gen on Gallows anymore. They had a chance, but Victor coming up and interrupting them. I wonder if the play might have been to try and body block for the hit. Oh, but they find the Kate. Is this lights out?
It's very possible. We see them trying to get one of these two gens completed. Water Wheel and Gallows very close to being completed. We see Ada getting the unhook on the Claudette, them both splitting up just a little. But we do see Ada, looks like they want to go for the slug out on the Claudette, but they get into the locker just in the nick of time.
They really do. But this means that all stars are going to be injured here in a second. Ada's probably going to take a hit here. What? Huh?
I think all involved are a little bit confused about that, because I for sure am.
You know, it's fine. We'll fix it in post. It's fine. Oh, man. But yeah, every survivor injured now. The gate does get picked up again. Pre-dropping this pallet. Honestly, with the way that Victor's been hitting through pallets, I respect that play.
You say that, but we saw that first hit of today of Victor bouncing off the pallet, so,
fair.
You know, even then, he ain't all too safe.
That is entirely fair. Honestly, survivors, despite being injured, they are all split up. I think, yeah, they're waiting to get Victor back here. They're actually in an okay spot if they're able to go and split on these gens. Kate over here taking chase by Water Wheel. Will they go down, or will they be able to, you know, get the kick of Victor? That's the question. If they get the kick of Victor, that might be enough to get them time to reset.
Yeah, however, Victor's seemingly losing the trail on the Ada. Now going back to the Gallows to make sure that they're not doubling up here while injured. And even more so, going to be checking the lockers. We did hear Claudette in that locker to the right. But looks like they are going to get a kick. Yeah, they finished it just in the nick of time. Deadlock on Gallows, Kate down on the ground. I mean, if you're going to go for a hook, now's the time to do it while Deadlock's in effect.
Deadlock is... I'm not gonna lie, that might be MVP Deadlock of the game there, making sure that the Aquatic can jump out of that locker and go and get that final % on the gen, because both of these gens were 99s. And I'm not gonna lie, I would go put Charlotte closer to that generator, because I'd want to kick it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that we do see blood trail going into the back. That's the Claudette bait. Throw the pallet. Victor being a bit more patient this time, but overshooting. And looks like they are going to jump into another locker once again. I mean, these survivors have been using this on point. And Victor finally choosing the right one. But can you even go for it is the question without having to first regress this gen here on Gallows.
Yeah, you saw the moment of decision, like, do I have the time to kick this gen? And they're like, okay, you know what? I think I do. And yeah, because I guarantee you, those survivors. Oh wait, they're healing. What do you think they would have broken off to come to the gen if Claudette was going under? Or that's so tough. There's so many decision
it makes
points.
sense to try and heal here, but I will say Gallows gen has regressed by quite a bit.
It does.
Claudette going back down on the ground. Looks like the Twins wanting to find where these survivors are, but with the full heal taking place, looks like they're just going to post up Victor and act as a little bit of a radar, though. Resetting them once again and taking a quick look around before they do go for that Claudette.
Indeed. Again, there's been so many decision points for not only the Twins player, but also the Survivor team here. There's been so many points like, okay, do we heal? Do we reset? Do I, go to kick this gen? Do I go for the Survivor? This has been a very mentally macro-intensive game.
Yeah, without a doubt, we see Victor being used to kind of keep track of the Claudette as they try and crawl away outside of the radius. However, no sign of these survivors within the 3-gen, so Ada and Kate kind of holding out, potentially going for the pickup on Claudette, and there it is. They must have crawled on over beforehand. And looks like Twins will be on the prowl. Ada being very daring, jumping right onto Gallows behind the Twins.
Good balance
But they
landing.
are off to the races with that balance landing.
That might have been why they tried to protect Ada. Balance landing is one of your best resources in this map. And also, they actually got the reset on Claudette as well. So it seems like they're pretty content just leave one survivor injured at any time, and they were always resetting. So they prioritize the reset, apparently. And it's worked out for them.
Yeah, so far it has worked out quite
Quite a
well, although
saloon,
it seems
too.
like it's definitely going to be a bit of a grindy end game with this 3-gen here. It's going to come down to who loses patience first, and I think.
It's amazing how many games we've watched where that's what it comes down to. I remember a doctor match forever ago on this map, and the survivors just eventually, it was like a 30-minute match, and the survivors eventually was like, okay, fine, we're gonna try and get it, or we're just gonna die, and that's what happened. The stalemates are never fun because one side essentially has to give it their position. There's no threefold repetition like in chess, you know. There's no side can be like, we're gonna give up this area.
Exactly, even now. But I will say, Twins
That's
quite
good
close to
spots.
this locker. I think they get this hook on Kate.
They do, but I can guarantee you Ada and Clutta are busting on double time on that gen. But they leave the locker instead of getting the pick, so that means they can leave them slugged. And they're not on the gen. Oh no. Are they on a different gen?
And we see scratch marks going towards the gallows. Ada kind of going back towards the corner, maybe drawing the Twins' attention away from the one closer to water wheel.
That's possible, but they're running back into the water wheel, which means that they're going to get a killer instinct potentially from the other survivor. But we're not seeing that. That might have been the leverage the Twins was looking for, getting this hook next to everything. This might be lights out.
Yeah, it's starting to seem like it more and more now that they've secured that hook here. 60 seconds on the clock for a second survivor to be sent back to the campfire via the entity. And that's exactly what the Twins needs. Once that happens, once these gens have regressed for that period of time, then they are able to commit to chases all they want.
True.
So surprised they haven't gone up the gallows to kick the gen. I don't think it's still regressing.
It might not, but they might be content with that. You know, they already got burned once. They left the hook for just a millisecond to deploy Victor, and then Ada swooped in from the wings and was like, all right, we got you. And I think there might be a little bit of a... right there! That's what I'm talking about!
I mean, these survivors have been absolutely on point with their timing.
They have.
Every time Victor gets sent out, they have a survivor waiting in the wings to get the unhook. And honestly,
And the
yeah,
reset.
they needed to just sit on that hook, just sit on that gen and watch over their prize. There's no way for these survivors to have gotten that unhook and work on the gens in tandem.
It's a good point.
But looks like Twins going to be trying to go for a pounce on the
good hit.
will get hit, leaving two survivors currently injured and the Kate left to potentially get the heal.
Yeah, but I don't know if we've seen the cadence yet. Assuming the Claudette got the unhook, but yeah, they need to reset the Ada. This is time you need to reset. The question is, but they find the Ada now. Well, they can't recall Victor just yet, so they've got a little bit of time left. Ada might be able to get away, but no, they're just going to say add the TNL. This is probably going to be death for Ada. Oh.
Yeah, they go for the swing, but a bit too aggressive as Ada was able to make the vault. And it looks like they are going to be going back to the LT wall and drawing the Twins into these tiles, which, yeah, they bring down Victor, try and get the quick down and potentially send them back over to the gallows to protect the gen, but losing the trail here as they go up top and trying to get the mind game, but Ada just being a little bit too quick on the draw.
Indeed, and forcing this, the other survivors, they have not reset. The Twins needs to go. Yeah, the Twins is heading straight back to their 3-gen as those survivors are accounted for. You have not seen Claudette heal. What gen are they working on, though? It's not Gallows. It must be one of the further back gens. It's not this one either. It has to be the further back one. Yeah, survivors are already starting to leave. That's actually a good amount of pressure. That's 70-80%.
Yeah, it's not bad to say the least, but Claudette in a little bit of an awkward position here. This tile is in the middle of nowhere, and yes, we saw the whiff there, but honestly, all the Twins needs to do is wait for Bloodlust 1, Bloodlust 2, Bloodlust 3, and they are guaranteed the down here.
But
Claudette
Kate's
has
on the gen.
nothing else working for them.
But the Kate's on the gen right now. While this chase is going on, that Kate is working on the gen. They can't commit to this
Yeah,
chase.
we see the Twins getting a little bit distracted from that chase. Kate on the gen, and they are fully healed.
Yeah.
So they can take a hit here without any real issue. Note that Ada also now unaccounted for, as they were only trapped in that locker for a little bit of time.
Absolutely. Honestly, can the survivor stay in the locker longer than Victor? Like, is Victor forced off the locker if the survivor's not trying to get out?
You know, that's a good question. One of which I haven't thought about in a hot minute. At
That's
some
a new
point,
way
I
to
probably
hold
knew
hostage.
that information. As of right now, I have no clue.
But I say, like, that would be a new way to hold hostage because Victor just recently got brought back. Which means I think she was holding Victor hostage on that so that they couldn't use it to harass Kate and Claudette. Which, if that's the case, that is big right play. Oh my word.
Yeah, another hit through those pallets. We saw the killers get punished yesterday with the reverse pallet stun, but today the entity has deemed that the killers are favored here today. And Claudette will be put on the hook for the second time. Now one hook away from death hook and needs to impact the campfire via the entity.
This game has been really back and forth. They are taking time to heal. Ada and Kate have reset, but they find the Kate immediately. Oh, but they whiff. That's gonna be a kick, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be the kick. But where's Ada? Is she gonna be here for the unhook or not? Also, worth noting that Ada hasn't been hooked yet at all, and I think they're really trying to make sure that she does not get hooked. Maybe try and get a fresh out with her.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense here. We haven't really taken a good appraisal of where these exit gates are. We see one there over by Water Wheel, but I'm not sure where the last one is. I want to say it might be behind main building and saloon.
If that's the case, there's a shot, but again, survivors just... But wait, Ada's been back here. That might have been a bait and switch, like, oh, we're going for the unhook. Don't you want to chase us? And Ada's over here just plugging away on this generator. I'm going back to that deadlock on the Gallows gen. That definitely saved the game here for the Twins. If that had not happened, that was MVP deadlock, because they would not be in the situation right now.
Yeah, honestly, if I was the survivors and knowing that deadlock was in play, I think they did make a little bit of a misplay here in completing the water wheel when they did and not holding it. And so I think that was a really big crucial moment and a potential misplay by the survivors, even with how progressed the gen at Gallows was.
That's a really fair point. And was that a lithe, or I don't think it was?
No, I don't believe so. Okay. From out of distance, we saw Claudette. That was the Kate as well. But the Twins just a little bit too concerned about the Ada to leave just this gen unattended. And for good reason, as Ada there in the wings, working on that gen bit by bit. Going for locker, Twins going for long shot, but unable to get it, and Victor will get kicked.
Indeed, finally breaking these resources. One thing too is that this killer really hasn't had time until just a moment ago to start breaking these resources. All survivors are injured right now, and really, I think we're probably going to see them attempt to reset, but Vic, I don't think they want him to reset. I think they want to leave a slug and really slow them down here and let this gen regress.
Yeah, I think you're right. Victor definitely on the prowl to try and find where Survivor is. Then these survivors are being so daring right now. I think that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, where they have just run out of patience and now are making more and more risky plays, hoping that it pays off. And right there and then, it is showing that it is not going to. So if the Twins get the hook here on the Ada, I mean, that is a guaranteed 6 points. They progress it from fresh to death. So that's exactly what the Twins wants right now.
Absolutely. Worth noting that gen over on the other side near Water Tower is actually kind of got some progress on it. And Twins are going to check that out now, because it seems like they are going to start splitting these generators up and try and pressure them equally. But yeah, with Ada going down back there, I don't know what they can do. They have reset the survivors, so Claudette and Kate are healed, but they're both death hook as well. So
yeah, we see Claudette coming in for the unhook, and one survivor on Gallows, maybe for the balanced landing. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to get there in time. Twins going back to the hook. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think that going back and forth between Victor and Charlotte here is really working out in their favor. We've seen these survivors make these really key plays again and again and again, you know, the moment the Twins switches over. And so I'm a little bit concerned that it might get a little bit too overzealous and they might sneak on in for the unhook.
I think you're right. And yeah, Claudette coming in, trying to get that unhook, but it looks like they're going to be zoned away from it. Kate, this entire time, though, is working on the generator. And yeah, you cannot take the hook right here. This survivor has another stage, but Claudette does not.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Oh! Yeah, they didn't get the kick in time. Claudette kind of caught out, but now jumping into a locker. Honestly, though, Twins grabbing this wouldn't be the worst thing, because Claudette is on death hook.
True.
Once you remove a survivor from the equation, it's going to become a lot more easy to manage these generators. And Claudette now in the crosshairs of the Twins. Ada trying to body block, but Twins going to be able to get past them. Though now Ada risking losing out on BT. Ada knowing it too and trying to get to the locker, but Twins will successfully get them down.
Okay, I was wrong. That they did progress the second stage by just a fraction, and I didn't catch it until I looked at the hook stage bar. This is very crucial. Wait, they actually got the pickup? Oh, that will make it. I bet the Jets will make it.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. Leader is in fact banned, so that has to be a will make it. And so really dangerous play there, almost working out in their favor. Thankfully, Twins noticing that in the nick of time, but looks like they are going to be content with that and going to try and... Oh, no!
Oh,
this
wow.
Survivor's still here. Claudette wanting to keep the Ada off the ground and off the hook, but Twins feeling confident enough to bring out Victor and try and get it down on Kate.
Really smart play there. It really heads up play too, because they knew as soon as Charlotte was going to go for the pick, Kate finishes that gen, I think. And now Claudette being the only one up anymore, and I believe Unbreakable was rebanned on this killer. I think we're going to potentially see the 4K here. And the only reason I can see it otherwise is if the Claudette goes over and finishes that gen, but I don't think she has time. Yeah,
I don't think she has
zoned.
time. I don't think there's enough progress either. This is now going to be 2 survivors out of the match. Like I said earlier, it's going to make it much easier to manage these gens and the progress on them. So Twins now in the favorable position, and I think this is pretty much done and dusted. You know, I don't like calling things early, but with it being Twins,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident.
And a slug. And Charlotte, Claudette sneaking over here trying to get the kick on the Victor, but forcing the pick here, it doesn't matter. Even if Kate bleeds out, that's still 1 point. There's only 1 hook stage left. Yeah, I think this is most definitely at 4K at 1 gen remaining. And honestly, between the 3 gen and the deadlock, I think you might be right. There might have been some kind of counterplay there for the survivors, utilizing deadlock to prevent the kill from regressing the gen at a key point instead of having it, you know, block them from being able to complete it. So, tough call. 3v1s against Twins are difficult, and the fact that these survivors held out so long and in several instances almost popped that final generator. So, really well played.
Yeah, honestly, really good plays from all involved. Twins going to be taking a look around, see if they can find this last survivor before they bleed out. But honestly, I think in this instance, just close the hatch, make sure they can't escape, and even if they have an adrenaline, I don't think it's going to matter much here.
I would agree, and oh yeah, I think those exit gates are very patrollable. So even if they did end up forcing an exit gate play, that was, especially for Twins, you need this to be complete opposite sides of the map with 0 line of sight for Twins to be able to not hold this down. So yeah, that is looks like the Kate's gonna bleed out there in the end. You know, it's the pub's nightmare to bleed on the floor for 4 minutes, but you know, it's so much better to bleed out with a Swift. All right, everybody, welcome back to trial number 2, the return of the Cenobite, out for blood and vengeance for its fallen survivor comrades to the Twins. Who will prevail, Guildspire?
I don't know. Either ways, it is going to be an interesting match. We saw some really top-notch gameplay from Cenobite yesterday. Wanted to see some more of that today. And realistically speaking, as I mentioned before the break, Aeternum is going to need to get a 4K at 4 gens or less to either force the tie or win in set number 1. So we'll have to wait and see what the Cenobite has
What
in
is this
store. We see the
corrupt?
tried and true add-ons of Original Sin and Impaling Wire.
True, but usually the impaling wire goes before the original paint. I don't know what's up with this Cenobite, but kidding. No, seriously, what is this corrupt? What is this corrupt?
Yeah, this
cheeky head on, wasting the killer's
cheeky
time.
head on, cheeky firecracker. I mean, we saw that too with the
What?
Cenobite matches yesterday, how key head on could be, though Impaling Wire doing some work up here on top of Saloon.
True. Also, that Cenobite took the blind, was able to immediately get a chain off and find the survivor. The killer game sense there was a phenomenal display. Like, they hurt the survivor. I didn't. That was amazing.
I mean, that's one thing I say all the time about the fact of the matter is a blind is great and all, but you still have the ability to hear Cenobite trying to maybe mind game something there. I'm not sure what was up with that. And looks like they are going to drop Chase, potentially seeing scratch marks going over towards the gallows.
Well, is there a 3-gen over here by Gallows, or is there not? I don't think there is. There isn't.
There kind of is. We see that elevated gen over by that corner to the right of Shaq. And with Cenobite having their chains and, you know, able to kind of negate that elevation, it's not exactly a bad 3-gen, especially as survivors don't have a lot of room to maneuver out of that gen if they are currently working on it.
That's fair. That is fair. It's not the same 3-gen we had before, but it's definitely still... You're right. That there is still a 3-gen there. And yeah, this killer does help with the verticality. Is that Calm Spirit?
It seemed like it, right? No scream, no nothing on the downs.
That
so
is
it
a meta
seems
on
like
this killer.
It might be. I'm not sure if that's a counter to when the box gets found.
Ooh, do you see that pain res though?
Yeah, I did see that. 25% off that generator in that moment. Ada now in chains, medkit in hand. A really good possessed chain there on the Ada, who will get hit on the other side of that pallet.
We're still at 5 gens, by the way, and with that gen and Water Wheel being the most progressed since pain res hit it, I'd say this killer is feeling pretty good at the moment. You got one hook, you're going after the same survivor. Here comes the original pain value. There it is. Titan happened to take the body block there, but borrowed time is already gone on the survivor. Another possessed chain coming in. Do they hit it? They do. And even if you get into the shack here, this is going to be a very dead chain. They're going to have to hope for decisive.
Yeah, decisive is kind of where it's at. Ace with the box in hand, using it at the right time, but looks like we're going to get a basement hook here. And with that original pain on top of everything else, it's a really hard task to get this K out of the basement alive.
That's a really good point. I don't know if you get the survivor out alive. And this gen over here, regress. But there's the pop goes the weasel as well. This killer has some of the, like, between pain res and pop goes the weasel, that is some heavy duty double number regression. That's insane.
I mean, keep in mind, pop is dependent on how much progression the gen does have. It's not a flat regression like Scourge of Pain Resonance. That's why that 25% flat regression is so insane. Even if you can only get it 4 times now, that's a full generator if you do hook each survivor once throughout the match, which based on our point system is incentivized.
That is true. I get that. I genuinely do. But this killer's, like, they didn't go back and kick Water Wheel. They went and kicked a gen that's at least above 50 to 70%. So they're still getting plenty of pop value. And yeah, this survivor is going to die. We're still at 5 gens. We are still at 5 gens, and then we have a survivor dead. This is not looking good here for Misery.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly where Aeternum wanted to be, getting the hit on Ace as well, and they're making their way towards the shack. That's not where he wants to be, because if he goes down, he knows he is not escaping.
Absolutely, and there's the gen of Water Wheel, 1 gen down. Also worth noting, did we call it Sloppy Butcher?
We have not called it Sloppy Butcher, so that is known to the survivors. I mean, that is huge, especially with the amount of times you see survivors off a hook, or even in chase, having that Deep Wound status effect. So they need to heal through Deep Wound, then heal through Sloppy Butcher. That is a lot of time wasted and not on gens, not including just the general gen slowdown that the Cenobite has. And we see that Impaling Wire putting in some work here as the Ace goes back and forth between these vaults, but just unable to escape.
That was actually quite comical to watch, but yeah, Ace just not able to get rid of those. Honestly, the Impaling Wire was absolutely clutch there, because yeah, otherwise eventually those chains would have just gone away, but Impaling Wire making sure that survivor is always slowed, and they do get the box reset here, but that is another pain res taking a hit, and a pop is on a 50% gen here. This killer is in a very, very commanding spot right now. That's not what I expect to see out of the gate, but this killer's done really well.
Yeah, no, honestly, Cenobite having a really strong start here, really strong chases, using their power and their add-ons to a T. I mean, all they need to do now is kind of sit back and harass these gens here and there, but they seem confident enough to go out into the rest of the realm and hunt down what they now find to be the Ada.
Yeah, Ada over here working on this gen in the corner. Imagine this one was the one with the pain res and getting a hit over the pallet. That does seem to be live potentially, because they got a significant amount of distance there with that hit. You know, but they may not be able to get far enough, and there's the possessed chain, there's the broken, oh, no, sorry, Deep Wound status effect. And even if the survivor gets away, they're gonna have to spend a lot of time getting reset. We don't know where the Ace is at the moment. I imagine, nope, there he is in the middle. Oh no, they might have interrupted a heal potentially.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Ace trying to make a mad dash away from Cenobite, kind of going back to this LT wall. Cenobite unable to get the possessed chain there though. So Ace getting a little bit of distance, and another gen popping off. That is 2 gens completed, as we mentioned.
Okay.
Really strong hit there, and the change just, yeah, the change just a little bit too far away for Ace to actually reach the pallet in order to vault. That was actually kind of insane. I did not expect that to hit. I saw it in the middle of the water wheel. Just thought, well, that sucks.
Yeah, didn't even know you could get a possessed chain in there. That was very interesting. Also, if you can get your possessed chain in there, does that mean Nurse can blink into it?
The answer is yes, but I'm wondering if maybe that was a spectator bug.
It might have been. That was very interesting. But Ace now on second hook here. They did complete the gen that Ada was on, but okay, they are gonna try and solve the box here. They are reset. I don't know how you get 2 more gens done. This Fang is insane. She came out of nowhere. Oh, but they got stuck.
Yeah, a little bit of a misfire there on the possessed chain, just not getting the distance they needed. Ace going to be making some distance, but it looks like Feng Min will take it down in his place. Ada dropping down as well out of nowhere, but I think it will not matter much, as I believe this is going to be a Scourge Choke taking residence here, regressing the most progressed gen by 25%, and that was actually up on the Saloon. So now the Xenobite here, knowing full well where these survivors have been focusing their time.
Quite so, and they are going to be able to get the unhook here. Question is, will they be able to... Honestly, I don't think the Xenobite cares. I think they're happy to take, like you said, take the pain reses potentially. You either Cuddle Survivor out or pain res. Both are equally rewarded. You've got 3 gens to go, 2 gens before the tie conditions met, so... Honestly, I don't know if there's any bad decisions here to make for the Xenobite. It's, you know, as we say in Magic, it's garbage time. Have you heard that?
I wouldn't disagree here, and yeah, just Feng Min going down over the pallet. No Scourge Choke here, as they've been hooked once already. However, the Xenobite in a really commanding position, and if Ada or Ace has gone up to Saloon, that's going to be a Pop Goes the Weasel coming their way.
Absolutely. This is, and we see Blood here too. They were working on this generator. Oh, this is so brutal. Yeah, it's only a 50% to... Yeah, this killer has absolutely come out and shown what they're made of. Impressive Xenobite play. No crazy shots, but the macro level management was really good. Feng Min taking a body block there, but they're gonna go down here in just a moment. Yeah, not even taking the chance.
Yeah, Xenobite want to be extra careful, ensuring that they don't get that BT, but between the possessed chains and the time wasted, Xenobite is going to be getting that pickup and sending the Feng Min back to the campfire from which they came.
Indeed. I think for the survivors, all they can hope here at this point is that the Ada is on a gen, maybe Saloon, whichever, and is cranking it out as we speak. If they can get the 3rd gen done, maybe, just maybe... Oh, good attempt there. This is the verticality we're talking about, but Ada able to dodge. If they can get the 3rd gen done, if they can get even a... It doesn't have to be a fresh survivor. If one survivor gets that, that's 1 point to 9 to the killer. That's 1 point to the survivor. That's a 2-point difference on that gen. That's the 4th gen you need to tie. So
yeah, I mean, it's not so the wrong possibilities, but with Chain Hunt now begun, that's going to force survivors off these generators and forcing one of them to go in the box. Like, yes, it's not going to be all too painful because 2 survivors are already dead, but Cena by cutting the Ada off at that broken wall, and that there is going to be down. We saw a missed skill check, and they're attempting to complete the box. That's the wrong time to do it, as Ace will now be in chase for what will be the final time.
Indeed, that was really unfortunate timing there. It might have been a missed call out, I'm not sure. And, oh, we're seeing a similar situation here. The impaling wire doing so much work. And yeah, this Ace is not long for this war. They are cornered back here, unless some miracle happens and this Ace is able to get away. But I don't imagine that's the case. Ace is death hook though, correct?
I do believe that is going to be the case, but they are right next to Ada, who has not gone all too far. And so there's the down, 2 hooks nearby. Looks like Xenobite wanting to ensure no escapes via that hatch. And we will see Ada up on the hook and Ace soon thereafter.
Very, very close, but I can't pinpoint, no pun intended, what like when did this game fall out of Survivor's favor? Because it didn't seem like it was fine at first, and all of a sudden, all at once, there was just no gens. Like all the gens were just gone.
I think, honestly, it was the Scourge, Hook, Pain, Resonance trades. I think those hook trades are what kind of sealed it and what really slowed down the gens, allowing the Xenobite to then bring Pop Goes the Weasel, regress the gens more, and just the unhooks were a little bit unsafe. I will say that. You know, with the Xenobite being so close and nearby in order to, you know, pressure the survivors, injure them with Sloppy Butcher, and potentially even get it down through a borrowed time with original pain. I mean, I think all of that collectively just started to stack against these survivors.
That's a good point. So with pain res being changed the way it is now, do you think we're just gonna have to so I guess the counterplay now, you can't just, like you said, hook trade willy-nilly with Scourge Hook. It's not like, you know, it's not multiple uses of the pain res, but that one 25% followed by another 25%, you're right, that's 50% of a gen. Is that too much now? Like, do survivors have to change their tactics with pain res being the way it is?
I think you do. I think if the option is hook trade on a Scourge Hook, or not to, I think you let them progress the second stage, or you ensure the person you're sending for the hook trade is someone who has already been on a Scourge Hook.
All right, everybody, welcome back to trial number 3, the beginning of set number 2. And you said we're going to the Wretched Shop for another Twins match, you say?
That we are. Aeternum choosing Fonts today, bringing us the Wretched Shop with the Twins against Misery's Survivor team. And this could be the defining moment, as Aeternum did win set number 1. So if they set the pace here, they could set the stage for a clean sweep here in round 1. But that being said, we'll have to wait and see, as Twins is out on the prowl for a survivor as we speak.
This is a much better corrupt than the previous killer had. Very condensed. They even find 2 different survivors in the same area trying to split up. And Zarina and the Cape being caught out here, not able to get to Shaq. And this is going to be a first hit very early in the game. I'm about to say, I would pre-drop that in a heartbeat, considering how Victor's been hitting today.
Yeah, very clean hit there by the Twins. Very clean mind game too. Bring that Victor to try and get that early down. But I will note this does mean that there are currently 3 survivors on gens, now 2 with the ace coming in for the body block. But once again, seeing this kind of play where they don't go for the pounce on the healthy survivor. I'm not sure what the thought process is there, if that's a new strategy that I'm not aware of.
I guess, in theory, you want to use your power to down a survivor, and if you just accept that a kick's gonna happen. And because otherwise there's 2 other survivors you gotta play and, you know, mind game with, oh, but they get body blocked in, but he takes the hit instead. Yeah, because now you gotta play this normally, because she's injured.
Body block there.
Yeah, because now you have to play this as a regular 115 killer. And let's face it, in Group A especially, these survivors against a 115 killer will eat your lunch. They will chase you for 5 gens. And you want your power to down a survivor instead of having to chase them normally, because look at the survivor. Without Victor, how are you gonna get the survivor down?
I mean, that's a fair point, and we see the Twins trying to mind game here to try and gain some distance. And right now, with Bloodless 1, they do have a little bit more Victor coming back. Looks like they're going to wait for their power to ready up, and I think bring Victor out. But Zarina choosing to take the W plan here, trying to make some distance, but just unable to make it work, as they will end up going down on the edge of the map.
Yeah, they saw that they had Victor back, and at that point, killers got their power. You got to do what you got to do. But they do finish the gen back, actually, where Ace and Zarina were chasing earlier. Kind of surprising they were able to jam that gen up, but they do. This gen's also 99. This is a completely different game than what we saw previously with the Cenobite. This survivor team has so much more pressure against the killer. Despite they had a really good start too. The killer had a really early hit and even had some pressure against 2 survivors.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, the survivor's just on point. We do see another survivor there, but looks like the Twins want to hang around the deadlock here. I can't see, but I'm going to imagine this is in fact a Kafka's Weasel.
I don't think it was. That gen looks like it's still almost 99.
Interesting. Then, yeah, I don't know why they would wait around that deadlock for as long as they did then. Without much in the way of regression, that would be a little bit surprising. So as of right now, our survivors only aware of deadlock.
So, well, they also know about Force Penance because Ace took a protection hit for Zarina originally, so we did see the broken status effect. So, and I mean, to be fair, I don't think anybody's shocked by a Force Penance on Twins.
Yeah, I mean, when the gameplay is that you take a body block for a survivor that's currently injured and in chase with Victor, I mean, Force Penance seems like a no-brainer to me. However, it does look like the Zarina is going to be forced to move to second stage. So that actually does bring a little bit more pressure into the hands of the Twins.
True.
And put these survivors into a bit of an awkward position, as the Twins kind of content with having 2 survivors off of gens. Kate still with Victor in hand, leaving just the Ace and the
Rebecca.
I'm blanking on Rebecca's name. There you go, Rebecca.
I'm blanking on Rebecca's
to be
name.
ungemmed. Well, it's like I remembered it as I was saying, like, I don't remember their name, and then like, oh yeah, it's Rebecca.
Okay, so I know now why they were sitting around the deadlock gen. Look at how much that gen is just dry regress from a normal kick. Because they were able to camp this out. So I'm wondering, will we see 2, maybe 3 gens pop here in trade for Zarina's life? Because I don't think they're going to come for the unhook. I think they're going to be like, all right, Zarina, you did great, sweetie. You're going back to the campfire, but you gave us a lot of gen pressure. Are they going to go for a
see
kick
them
here?
going in for the kick on Vic, and we see
It was
Rebecca
distraction.
maybe trying to actually switch the Twins' attention, but they do get the unhook.
No way. That's so good for them, though. Now the question is, can Zarina get away in time? Here comes Victor coming out. Bar time still in effect for a couple more seconds. There's the second gen going down. They say, bring it on. They say, come at me, Vic. Okay.
Yeah, these survivors confident that they can get this pickup and or get the pallets done even. And so I guess the question now is, yeah, do you go for the hook? And I think this is the right move, as you otherwise risk a awkward situation at that pallet with Zarina down on the ground.
Quite so. Also worth noting, Kate getting reset over in the distance. I don't know if that was by a medkit or by Ace. We don't see anyone in this area. This gen also getting a dry kick. Will we see an unhook? Oh, there's the survivor coming for the
scratch marks.
No shot. No way. They got it. And the unhook as well on the Rebecca. Survivors have a
really
shot here.
Coordinated play there.
Absolutely. That was so well timed. The pallet's done. Oh, Ace got a little bit too close for comfort. Wait, that's a 40 people in this arena.
Yep. I was going to see if you caught that, but no, that
So
was a really
much.
smart heads-up play by the Twins, noticing the 40 people from the Ace, and Ace willing to take that down. Now, I will note here, Ace has yet to be hooked, so getting a fresh hook here on the Ace honestly might be the right decision, even if he gets completed. But looks like Twins opting to go for the chase on Zarina, and another gen done and dusted. But a pounce on Zarina on the same side as the Twins. It's a huge amount of distance lost.
That really is. That is unfortunate for them. However, they are going to be able to get into this tile. She is still a 115 killer against a skilled survivor. How does this play out? Will she be able to mind again? She does. She's holding W. Zarina might be holding W for dear life here, but they will go down in the corner. There is a gen deadlock in the distance. They do have 3 gens down. 1 gen kind of near completion for what we saw last time. I imagine behind Shaq they'll be able to complete that one. But it's all up to these survivors. They got the reset on the Ace. I'm sorry, the pickup on the Ace, but now the gens are split. I guess it's now a matter of how does Misery's team fare in a 3v1 against the Twins? This is a better spot for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a much better position to say the least. And looks like they have been working on this gen here just a little bit, though it is not 99. And it looks like now they are going to go for the pounce on the Kate here. And they do successfully get it.
About to say, those tires are the absolute worst to get a hit on with Victor, so really well done. Good patience to the Twins to be able to hit that. And now all survivors are injured. I don't know if Rebecca and Ace are resetting. One thing I'm noticing is that these survivors aren't resetting nearly as often as the previous Aeternum. So I'm wondering if that is a difference in team strategy. Maybe they say, you know what, we risk it for the gens.
Yeah, it's definitely a potential theory here, but Kate going to be able to get to this pallet in
Oh, never
time,
mind.
but they do not drop a bit of fake there and a bit of greed on
wow.
part of the Gate, though, going back towards the Shack now, and looks like they will get the ball into the building.
That they will. And also, Caster's Curse, both survivors resetting almost identically. So I'm guessing maybe a solidarity play from one of them. Oh, but they chose the wrong blocker. A little bit more wasted time on the survivor's part there.
Yeah, but interesting that they did that. I mean, they had the opportunity to potentially continue that chase for a little bit more, but opting to just force the pick instead and potentially force Twins' hands to push them into the basement.
I guess it makes sense. You've got 2 other gens that are not near the basement. So if Twins be like, all right, you know what? Sure, I'll camp this area. You sacrifice that survivor, you get some outs. Oh, these gens
Yeah,
are so
but
close.
these are the 2 most progressed gens, I think, on the map, and right now that's meaning that the Twins can kind of just chill on by them, ensure that they're getting 0 progress, all the while chasing these survivors with Victor.
That's a good point. We haven't seen where Rebecca's. All right, when Victor's fly, I guess, and they do get the unhook though.
Yeah, it looks like the Twins just does not care, wanting to instead get the pounce, does not get it though, and Ace even vaulting
play.
through Victor on top of the pallet.
That's a really good heads-up play from the Twins player. making sure that Victor goes out on the opposite side so they can't get a kick. And it looks like they're just gonna dry kick this generator over here. I imagine Kate's gonna get a reset somewhere on the edge of the map. There's the reset coming in. Ace still holding Victor hostage at the moment. They did kick these two gens, but technically, I don't know if this Twins has a lot of pressure. Like, they just found the Kate, but one survivor is free, and they're holding Victor just because they don't want Victor to be able to be using this chase here, so...
I mean, at the same time, though, this means that there's only one survivor potentially on Gen, so if I'm the Twins, this is not a bad snare to be in.
That's true. I guess for having a 3v1, it's an ideal scenario for both players because at least one of your survivors is on a Gen. But at the same time, yeah, for Twins, like, you're right, that's only one Gen being done, so...
Not to mention, when the Twins or when Victor is able to be recalled, you know where that last survivor is. You can check if they're nearby Gen. If not, feel free to recall because then they have travel time, they have heal time before they can do much of anything.
That's a very fair point. Also worth noting, this survivor's not going for the vault on the pallet, instead going for the window vault, because I guess that's the safer option, even though we've seen Victor get a hit through that, so kind of ballsy play here from the Kate, and yeah, they are going to be leaving the tile. Oh, but they missed it. They're not even going to go for the kick. They're just saying, no, just chase me, chase me, chase me.
Yeah, honestly, I think they thought about it for a second, just realized they weren't going to get enough time, and Victor will end up getting down. The question is there a survivor nearby in order to get the pickup? And also, what does the progress on these gens look like? And they do find the Ace injured, trying to get to Locker, but not in time.
Deadlock!
Just Rebecca, and they know exactly where she is.
Oh, this could be very, very brutal for the survivors. It depends. Can Ada... Rebecca, like you said. Can they stealth out and get to the Kate? Kate should be mostly recovered now, but they dropped Victor right next to them. This is going to be really tough, but that gen is nearly complete at the main building. Oh, man, it's going to be so close. They're going for the pick, though.
I think this is the right play. You get the pick, you go find the Ace, the gen in main, though with a lot of progression. Honestly, I don't think Rebecca's had enough time, and sure enough, there she is. This could be the final chase.
This very well could be. There's the hit. There's the unhook, though, and you're not going to be able to interrupt this, I don't think. One of these survivors is going to be able to get free, probably both of them, especially if the try to take a hit, and you're not going to get this into the pallet. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you do, because it's Dead by Daylight this weekend.
Yeah, no, Rue just said, open mouth, insert foot.
About to say, like, what have we had all weekend? This.
Yeah, and we will see the kick there on the Kate, but we know for a fact that they're nowhere near the Ace. So Kate kind of just running out of steam as we speak. They're going to make it to this tile, but Victor coming back out. And right now, it looks like we are going to see... Is that a locker?
I
No.
don't think so.
I thought for a second I heard a locker.
Oh, I'm about to say that mind game's really rough. There's no pallet here. This is a very unsafe tile against Victor. And I guess now the question is, you've got a lot of hooks to do. Can you force any bleed outs? Because not all of these survivors are death hooked.
Yeah, I mean, Ace has yet to be hooked at all, so finding Ace is probably the priority here, lest you lose 3 points. But even then, I mean, you're looking at a pretty decent score.
True.
But Twins going to be looking around, going from up high and doing a bit of pounds to save some time. But the question is, can they find the Ace?
I don't know. There's less than a minute left on this. Well, okay, not less than a minute. It's about a minute left. And there is some detection over there, but I think that might be Kate. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. I actually want to say that might be Rebecca at this point.
That's
I'm
fair.
taking another quick look for Ace in main, and looks like they have fallen out of Killer Instinct. And yeah, there's not much time on these bleed outs. That is about 30 seconds or so left before the Ace bleeds out on the ground.
I would normally switch over, but we've got a bunch of other survivors left on the ground as well that could also potentially bleed out, which those would be worth at least 1 point denied. So I think, yeah, unless something really lucky happens.
Yeah, leaving Kate on the ground makes a ton of sense. They are on death hook.
Right.
They're worth 1 point, dead or alive, on the ground or on the hook. Whereas Ace is worth the full 6 points. You're going to lose 3 if they do bleed out. So we'll have to wait and see what this looks like.
Yeah,
but so far,
that's
no sign of the Ace.
That's effectively a gen and a half worth of points that the survivors were able to hide because the Ace dies.
Yeah, no,
And
it
they
is
hit.
an absolutely huge win.
I'm not gonna lie, part of me really wants to know where this survivor is. I want to switch over. We got less than a minute almost on those. I want to switch over. I want to see where they are. There's the pick on
Well,
the
they
Kate.
found the Kate here.
That's too
and
late.
Ace is already dead. Yeah, too late on that.
Oh,
a
no.
little bit of a missed opportunity as Ace died on the ground to that bleed out.
Wow.
And looks like they will get the hook here on the Rebecca at the very least.
Ace,
And,
where were you?
Is that Rebecca or Cheryl? That's Rebecca, right? I'm not crazy.
Yeah, that's Rebecca.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, you're
I was like,
good.
I'm looking at scorecard and looking at the survivor. I'm like, who you?
So they won't be denied the point from Rebecca, but that is 3 points now, which is effectively a gen and an escape from the survivor. Technically, with one hook stage. So
Yeah,
really
that
well done
is
to the survivors
a
hiding that.
huge upset. And Twins looking down in the basement to see what's
Is there
the
a
ace
corpse?
here. Yeah, there's no corpse hiding down here. Nothing but the basement hooks itself. So really well played there by the survivors. Really well played there by the Twins, bringing it back in the end. That is basically the equivalent of the survivors getting all 5 gens at this point in time, in addition to, I want to say, you could argue 1 man out, more or less, is how that kind of gets valued in the grand scheme of things. So really interesting result at the end of the day. And with that being said, we are going to get set up for the next lobby and potentially the final trial of this match, as we are going to be seeing Misery's Artist against Aeternum's Survivor team.
Ooh.
And as I mentioned, they're going to need to get pretty much a 4K at 5 gens.
Effectively,
A 4K at 5 gens should secure victory for Misery in set number 2.
All right, everybody, welcome back to trial number 4. What could be the final trial, or could just be the halfway point that we're getting onto as we hit set 3, if there is a tie, which we talked about in the back end. You said that they have to get 5 gens done and a single survivor with 1 stage out to get the victory here, right? By 1 point?
Yep, so based on the math, based on the quick math I just did, if they get 5 gens completed and a survivor out the exit gate and or the hatch with 1 hook remaining, that will be victory for Aeternum. Otherwise, a 4K, even at 5 gens completed, will be a 1-point victory in favor of Misery and the Artist.
Which, against Artists, I don't know if that's the easiest ask to get a survivor out. I guess it's always possible. We'll have to say a play. I've seen Artists 4K. I've also seen Artists get like 4 outed. So really comes down to how much, Jukebox's practice Artists, though. I've seen them playing before. They're pretty dang good. So this would be a good game.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If that being said, Ada playing very well so far, playing outside of that flight path and not taking a M1 even at that vault. Really cheeky plays, to be honest here, and Jukebox kind of getting spun around here at the
good
loop,
hit.
but getting the swarm there on the Ada, though they do have a bit of time before they're able to send out another volley of Dire Crows.
But they got reset as they vaulted. But, oh, they had the win. Good blocker heads-up play from the Ada, but they will take an M1 there regardless. I think they're going to get hit regardless anyway, just because of the positioning, and actually, they're going to go down here.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's a really smart heads-up play. On the other hand, I'm not sure if it was worth it in the grand scheme of things. So definitely a interesting choice. It almost worked out if they're able to get to that pallet in time in order to extend the chase. But we'll have to see how much progress these gens have. As of right now, we do see at least 1 survivor that was around, once again, jumping the locker in front of the Artist.
Yeah, kind of taking a little bit of bait there. It is worth noting that there was a pain res proccing from that that hook there, and that was a Pop Goes the Weasel as well. So this killer does have the gen regression to boot as well as the lethality, and I'm really surprised they're not taking the passive approach here with that early hook and a pain res. They're actively like kind of patrolling this area. Are they trying to look to hold down a 3 gen potentially?
I mean, potentially, and at the very least, they're able to really just kind of harass these survivors off these gens bit by bit by bit by sending out these Dire Crows in order to swarm the survivors off the gen. Otherwise, they risk taking that entry, and we talked about it earlier, but we could see a 1-for-1 trade here in just a second.
True.
Nancy coming in, and if that is the case, nope, Claudette here as well, take the body block.
Oh,
there it is,
wow.
Claudette taking the hit. Nancy's getting scot-free, and there's the pallet stun too to give the Ada a little bit more distance.
Ada not having to pause to break that pallet stun, and also not being able to get the hook trade there, so there is going to be no pain res hook trade. They do finish the first gen of the match. There's the hit with the Dire Crows. Time to see if they're able to follow up with the shotgun effect, or if a survivor can possibly stop it, taking an intercept hit. And Ada zoning perfectly not to get hit, as well as is that the hand, or did they just get hits? Was that severed
that
hands?
was severed hands, so Ada took the hit, but Ace sharing their fate, both trying to get rid of the swarm as we speak, successfully doing so before the artist is able to recoup. And honestly, really good positioning here.
Very well positioned. And Ace over here as well. This is probably going to be a down because that is the single crow that hit. No, they just took the... Yeah, all right, that's fair. Now the question is, will there be a follow-up pain res? Will they be able to use that pop effectively? Or will the service be able to, like, you know... I don't know, this is really close. One gen to one hook. There's the pain res on that one. That makes it feel like there's not a lot of gen progress overall.
No, and honestly, that might kind of be a good thing right now. We've talked about it before, but in some sense, having little gen progress when Scourge Hook starts going off is not a bad thing, especially spread hooks between survivors. However, Ada with the swarm on them and a shotgun going out, getting the down from afar, and Ada in a little bit of a predicament here, as they will be put on the hook for the second time, if the artist can find them, that is.
I'm about to say, did you see what they did there, though? Instead of predicting where they were running, they predicted a double back, and Ada did, in fact, double back into those crows, and there was two of them, so they couldn't dodge. Wait, what? Despite the pain res we had a moment ago, we saw where it exploded. That was a different... That must have been two servers on that jet after the pain res happened, and then one of them went for the unhook. That's actually kind of brutal here. That's a bit of a... How would you say? Bait and switch on us. I think the spectators got bait and switched.
It would seem that way, and do want to note that since Ada's been on hook once before, no Scourge Hook pain resonance there, so no 25% off the most progressed gen. We do see scratch marks back here from the survivor trying to harass, and we get two survivors swarmed there off the unhook, and what seems to be a pop goes to Weasel as well from the artist. Setting out the crows once again, see if they get a hit, but no dice this time round, as both Nancy and Ada are able to repel the swarm.
Can I just say that I really appreciated the time management there? You knew the power was on cooldown, so get the pop goes to Weasel while you have a second, while your power's on cooldown. It didn't end up working out. They weren't able to get a snipe there. Oh, what's the... They found the Ada. That might be the best case scenario here.
You know what? I'm not so sure. The reason being is, I bet you this artist would love a Scourge Hook pain resonance right now, and they are not going to be able to get it.
That's a fair point, and now the shotgun coming in. Nancy taking a hit. They're going to take the pros into another part of the map. That is a good hit to be able to reset, but Ada's still zoned here. There's the third generator popping off. This is kind of getting into close territory here, especially since we talked about it before. There is... Oh, that's the fourth gen. We were about to say it. Deadlock's banned on this killer, and that might be the reason why she does go down, but there's only one generator left, and like you said, maybe they do want the pain res here. I don't know, but would you been able to get it down quick enough to stop those gens?
That's the question of the day. Also, to correct you, it's not Deadlock, but Dead Man Switch. So there could have been Deadlock, but since they're bringing Pop, they cannot bring that combo, as Deadlock Pop is not allowed here in COTF. However, these survivors now have the opportunity to complete this last generator. They just used the Pop Goes Weasel. No Scourge Hook pain resonance from the Ada. They are in prime position to complete this last generator.
They really are. Also, I'm just going to say in my defense, it's all dead to me. Sorry,
fair. That is very fair. But Nancy hugging the edge of the map, just trying to give their teammates a little bit of extra time. And honestly, I think this might be enough. However,
it might be.
You want to know? I'm fairly certain there is a Scourge Hook pain resonance around here.
Yeah, I think there is too, and they're gonna go for it. Will it be in time? There's the pain res. There's the scream. Ace trying to commit to it. The question is, what gen was it?
That was only one scream, and these survivors know the win condition, so that means if Ace is on the most progressed gen, I bet you Claudia is just going to be sitting on the other one.
That's a good point, and they are sending Dire Crows trying to figure out what's going on. They're going back for the unhook here. There's the unhook. There's the Crows. Not getting the other survivor with the hands. Trying to figure out where this other survivor is. You're right, there should be another survivor on the gens here. There's the wound.
It's really important to note, though, we don't know which survivor was the one on the unhook because the severed hands did not hit the other survivor.
That's a good point.
And it was the Claudette, meaning that the Ace has been sitting on the most progressive gen this entire time.
Good point, and barely missing that here. This pallet still being up next to this tile is actually really strong, and Ace is going to be utilizing that. That other gen that they were able to get I guess it was a pain res, wasn't on that one, but they did manage to pop it. Oh, this is really, really close. Good looping here from the Ace, though. Wasting a lot of time at this tile. There's
Yeah,
that.
notice they have not healed a Nancy, so I bet you the Claudette and Nancy are sitting on that gen as we speak.
And they're
No,
splitting.
Nancy over here.
They're splitting progress. And the artist knows it, too.
Yeah, we see the Necros go out. That is the Claudette on the other gen, the one that was popped earlier. Claudette going to be running out a little bit to try and not get hit, but the artist really stuck between a rock and a hard place. They can't go back and harass the Claudette, but they can't give up the chases on Ace and Nancy either.
That's a really good point. They need this gen to start regressing a bit more before they can. And yeah, just constantly taking pot shots over at the other generator. I'm guessing it's not all too difficult for the... And now I think the survivors also just come over here and started working on this gen. However, Nancy is... But they're only first hook, right? They've got 2 hooks to give.
Yeah, Nancy right now with on 1 hook, but no Scourge with Pain and Resonance from them. Claudette right now is the only first fight. There it is!
Oh,
There's
no.
the Adrenaline just in the nick of time!
That's a perfectly timed adrenaline, and I don't know if we have any end-game scenario parts. We don't see a haste status effect, and they are on the exit gate right now, so there is no way out. I don't know what you can do here.
Especially since Claudette, Claudette is the most important one right here. Nancy is not, and Claudette is going to be able to get out fresh for a full 3 points. That is huge, and Nancy knows it too. Just doing a little bit of cheeky BM there at the end, and I do believe that will be a 2-man out in favor of Aeternum. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really well played. It felt like there was a lot of progress there, but it might have been a false sense of security given to the spectators. Is like, oh, okay, the artist, has a spot. And it felt like they popped 3 gens within a couple, like maybe a minute and a half of each other after 2 separate pain reses and a pop, and yeah, it was not what we expected at all.
Yeah, no, really good showing from both sides, but these survivors just pulling out all the stops. So really awesome job, and congratulations to Aeternum walking away victorious here today.